Hey everyone, I am back with a new album review, and today we're going to be talking about Mammoth WVH. That, if you don't know, is the solo project of Wolfgang Van Halen. It came out on June 11th through EX1 Records, and man, has it got a lot of emotional feel to this album. You know, it is the solo project of WVH himself, and you can feel his own influence, his own style, and his own life being poured out into everything in this album. You know, I think for me, I automatically noticed that this album is full of these really great clean guitars. There's also space for really dirty guitars. Then there's these great powerful solos with a punch that you just don't expect them to show up in the way that some of the songs are laid out and arranged. You're going to get these great, like, you'll have a play of really clean riffs going, and then just all of a sudden it's either like this really gritty, grungy kind of feel to a solo, or you're going to get a punch of just unexpected. You know, I didn't know a whole lot about his own solo style of work outside of him, you know, touring and playing with Van Halen. And I think this album is just giving you an insight of what we can expect as his own musicianship to come in the years ahead of him. He's so young, and you're going to get all of the great stuff that has not come yet to look forward to. And, you know, when I listen to this album, the one thing that I love first is that it's a really long play. It's got 14 tracks. I struggled at first, and I had to go back and listen about 3 or 4 times, because the first playthrough, I didn't really didn't connect with me. It felt more like, oh gosh, this is just a ton of depression all in one, and it really stings. And I don't know that I want to listen to it. And I don't know if maybe it was the day that I listened to it, or coming back and listening to it again with fresh ears in a different feel of the day. But at one moment, it's like the album has this really angry feel, and then it's got super dark, and then it goes like you're just diving off a damn cliff straight into like the worst depression you've ever been into in your life. That's the style of the lyrics, where you can really tell he poured his soul into the writing and opened himself up for the rawness of the lyrics. And whether it was cathartic for him, or just he just wanted to put that out just to be such an honest feel, I can say you definitely get an honest feel in this album. You're going to feel like it when I say like the diving into depression. The tracks You're to Blame, Resolve, Circles, and You'll Be the One really just have this blistering, like, he did not hold back. I mean, I know he's famous for not just music, but also in social media, for not backing down to people that want to troll him or just really want to try to rile him up or talk smack. And he's not going to hold back in his own music either. He really is just, this is the truth. This is who he is. And he's just going to let you have it. And you're going to feel uncomfortable listening to some of these tracks. Other tracks, not as much. But I'd say for those of you who have dealt with your own family stuff and your own personal life of everything that goes on around you, you're going to connect in a way you may not connect with other albums, because of just the authenticity of the feel of what he put out. Bravo to Wolfgang for not being afraid to really put himself out there. It's hard for a lot of people to open themselves up in this way, and he really opened up to allow people to see a deep side of him that a lot of artists aren't going to do. You know, I think musically it was kind of strange when I started listening before. I mean, I just heard the first single that had come out, and I didn't really resonate that it was, you know, Wolfgang was involved in this project. Just on the very first part, I was thinking, wow, is this like maybe something that the Rival Sons and Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown maybe collaborated on, and this is something they would do? Because it really had the feel. I'm talking specifically like when I heard, oh gosh, I think it was Don't Back Down. It just felt like, wow, it just kind of that weird funky vibe to it, and just that raw, the blues and the rock sound. So it kind of threw me. And then so when I realized, hey, this is not these guys, and it was kind of cool. But I mean, I really thought, wow, it has that vibe feel, as if that's those two bands were working together. That's maybe something you would expect to find. But, you know, and to the caliber of those musicians, to hear that sound, you know, kind of in his own stuff is really kind of cool. What was weird for me though was like listening to the vocals. I honestly had to wonder because it's his solo project, but sometimes people do solo projects and they bring a different vocalist in to do the vocals for them because maybe you're not a vocalist. And I honestly thought that his vocals struck me as the Canadian rock band Default, especially I think it was Wasting My Time. The album was back in like early 2000s. And it really, I had to kind of catch myself going, gosh, is he singing it on it? Or did he like tap into some of the guys from Default? It was really weird. But it's not, it's definitely his vocals. I thought it was kind of cool because I've always loved that band. And so there's a lot going on in this album, and I think it's really cool. Even the fact like Mammoth WVH is, we all know that was Alex and Eddie's, they had that band Mammoth. And I think it's a cool way to honor, and carry on the legacy of his father, but also do his own thing and break out. And I know he got some shit from other people saying, oh, why would you, use the same name? And, hey, he's family. He has the right to do that. Don't question it. It's his right. But all in all, I think this is a really dark, heavy album, but it's fantastic at the same time. I can't say it was a fun experience because fun to me is not so angry and that kind of dark feel, although I love the black metal and stuff, but it's a little different on how it sounds. This is just so personal. And I guess because of my own life, I can connect on some of the lyrics, and they're very easy to fit with what you grew up with or what you went through with your own family. I do think it's a really good album. And had I ever reviewed it a few days ago, I probably would have been like, thumbs down, because I was just so shocked by it, the pain that was put out in the album. And I said, no, I'm not going to review it. I'm going to go back and listen to it again when I'm in a different headspace to really feel it. And I'm glad I did, because there is a lot of really good stuff going on in this album. I really am looking forward to seeing what he does next. If he decides to do something after this, I think it's really gonna be a spot for him to shine in his own and not always be in the shadow of his father. I think this is a really good album. So much is going on behind the scenes in it, whether it's the style of guitars or the guitars that were used. He's got his dad's most notable guitar used in this album, and I think that's really cool. There's sounds you just can't get without specific styles of guitars or a specific guitar. And he really picked the right stuff to make this album. For me, on the album, when it comes to best tracks, guys, I'm going to tell you just straight out, I think the two best tracks on this album are Don't Back Down and You'll Be the One. I don't think you can go wrong. Listen to this album. Be prepared, though, if you have had a really bad year with all of the mental health stuff because of everything going on with COVID, and a lot of people have had a lot of dark things happen. You may not be in the mind space right away to hear this album, so take this with a grain of salt. And think about that before you do go into it when you're in a really good mood and you want to listen to an album. If you're in that really dark space or you're dealing with some depression at the moment, it may not really help you, or it could help you if you're like me with some albums I've listened to, like band Rivals put out a really great album a few years back, and it really connected with a lot of the stuff I was dealing with. So music is cathartic. It helps you deal with whatever you're dealing with. And I think this must have really helped WVH do a lot of healing from his own life experiences. Guys, you really can't go wrong. Check it out. It's Mammoth WVH. I know you guys can get it physically, and you can definitely stream it, because I streamed it through Spotify myself. I did not get the promo on this one, so I'm really telling you I like this album. So go find it today. And Wolfgang, congratulations on a really great album. We will see you guys next time.